in the nursing home. She just wants to hear a voice, someone to talk to. There's a couple who want to make a lifetime commitment to each other. A family that realizes there's something more to life and are looking for a spiritual home. There's a man who is terminally ill and looking for someone to talk to about what happens at death. There are people who are looking for the possibilities, how to live a life of unlimited possibilities, and children who want to learn about their greatness. There's a person praying for wholeness. A teenager who wants to be in service to the world. People in a house, people we don't know, who are wanting their broken out windows repaired before winter sets in. People who have formed into small groups looking for support. Groups of mothers and entrepreneurs and people looking for prosperity. There are congregants who want to go deeper. People who are looking for that voice. And folks, we are Unity Church of Overland Park, and we are that voice. This is what we do. We talk about possibilities. We teach our children. We talk to the people in nursing homes. We renovate houses. You know, we have a new minister that's going to be joining us soon. Our first candidate will be here next Sunday, Nancy Orstaglio. And then Brandon Nagel, the 23rd, the possibility of a third candidate after that. And I hope you'll join us next week and on the 23rd. And I hope you'll stay for the potluck afterwards where we can get to know these candidates better. These candidates are coming into a ministry that has a tremendous vision. So, Brandon, I say to you, and to Nancy, I say to you, we are Unity Church of Overland Park. We are a powerful spiritual influence in the world. We are a ministry whose vision is no less than a world of peace, harmony, and abundance for all. You know, the world needs us. They really need us to step forward to make a positive impact in the world today. I think the world is ready for a new paradigm. They're ready for us to manifest possibilities, and it takes commitment to do this. I can just hear the world crying out right now. You know, Tuesday is Veterans Day, the time when we honor those who have truly made a commitment, who have committed their very lives to make this world a better place in which to live. And so, you know, if you're a veteran, I'm just going to ask you to stand and just stay standing for a moment. If you're a veteran, would you just please stand? And if you're in the armed services right now, would you just please stand? Services right now, would you please stand? If you are a friend of this country, would you please stand? Thank you. Thank you, and we honor you so much. This is commitment. This is commitment. As I think about commitment, I think about the children. I think about the wild youth that we had here on Friday night. They slept outside in the grass out here, supporting Synergy House, a homeless shelter for teenagers, for homeless teenagers in Kansas City. There's over 1,500 teenagers at any given moment who are homeless. As I think about the children, I think about what lies ahead for Zola Dale, who was born September 28th. And Harper Nagel, who was born October 6th. And Cora Van Trump, who was just born last week. I think about the twins that are to be born in May to David and Kelly Christmas. As I think about commitment, I think about my grandson. I think about all the kids who come up here on stage on Sunday mornings. The kids who need to know about the unlimited possibilities in their life. You know, we are Unity Church of Overland Park, and we have made a commitment to them. We are Unity Church of Overland Park. Would you affirm that with me? We are Unity Church of Overland Park, and the world needs us. Here we are, this beautiful church, just standing in the middle of the country, and the world needs our message. It needs our understanding. Imagine, if you can, a world where people really believed in the potential within themselves, where there's no need to be anxious, where there was no jealousy, where there were no bullies, where people weren't threatened. Imagine a world in which you are accepted for who and what you are, where the word discrimination no longer played a part in anybody's vocabulary. Imagine if it didn't matter what your gender is, or your age, or your sexual orientation, or the color of your skin, or your beliefs. A world where all people are embraced as expressions of God. This is what we are. Unity Church of Overland Park. Imagine a world that really understood about life. You know, we're in a world that's ready to change. And we are the change agents for this world, as a ministry and as individuals. Today we're going to ask you to move into a commitment to a higher way of living, to give to the world all that we as a ministry can give: inclusiveness and being spirit-led, being joy-filled, abundance, unconditional love. Today we're going to ask that you make a commitment to be in service, to share your unique gifts, to share your resources. If you are here for your first time today, I would just say to you, we are Unity Church of Overland Park, and you're not going to get a message of sin and suffering. That's not what we're about. We are about the potentiality to be found in every human being. We're about making commitments to move forward. And so today is Commitment Sunday. A time when we ask you to make a commitment to be nothing less than changing the world, to being part of a new paradigm. If you're in tune with our message, we're going to ask you to make a commitment to this ministry. But even more importantly than that, we're going to ask you to make a commitment to your spiritual journey, to your growth, and your unfoldment. In your bulletin, both last week and this, there is a T3 brochure with a commitment card in there. And last week, if you were here, we asked you to consider a commitment that you wanted to make, and not to make the commitment last week, to bring it with you this week. A commitment to be in service, either here in this ministry or elsewhere. I don't care where you're in service, but to volunteer your time to change the world. To make a commitment to be that voice who talks to the woman in the nursing home. Maybe to be at the doors on Sunday morning, to teach the children. To share with the breast cancer support group. Someplace where you can make an impact on the world. Today we're asking you to make a commitment of your talent, the unique gift that you are, to renovate houses, as the Renovate to Elevate team has done, to mentor kids and teenagers and college students, to help with people who are starting up new businesses. Today we're asking you to commit your resources to this place, Unity Church of Overland Park, which is on the edge of a new and higher spirituality that honors the essence of God in all people. To share your abundance with us as we meet spiritual needs for you and other people. And that this ministry will support you, continue to support you in the bumps and detours of life. So I know all of you are thinking, well, okay, time and talent, but how much should I commit to as far as resources are concerned? You know what? I don't care. That's up to you. That's up to you and your spiritual journey. 10% if you want to move into tithing, absolutely. Absolutely. And reap the rewards of tithing. Less? Sure. Sure. More? Great. Nothing? Fine. What kind of a breath are you going to take into this world of ours? Today we want you to make a commitment, not because you have to, but because you want to. Whatever commitment you make is between you and God. So what's going to happen? Well, in a few minutes, we're going to move into just a silent space. And then we're going to invite those of you who are ready to make a commitment just to come forward and put a commitment card here in the basket. We also have a covenant, which you're going to hear about more about in a moment. We'll ask you to sign that. And then Reverend Jan or Reverend Brandon have one of the T3 pins for your time, talent, treasure pins, which are pins you can wear saying, I have made a commitment to change the world in which I live. Some of you are ready to make that commitment, and that's great. Some of you aren't ready yet. You want more time to think about it, and that's great. And some of you don't want to make a commitment at all, and that's great. That's great. Some of you want to come up and do this when we do it. Some of you want to come up and do this privately. And Reverend Jan, Reverend Brandon, and myself, we're not going into a receiving line today. We're going to stay here. So if you want to come up and make a private commitment, just come up and do that. Or later on in the week, we'll have this available to you later on in the week. This isn't about judgment, folks. This isn't about guilt. It's about committing to your spiritual growth and unfoldment and committing to living in a new world, into a new paradigm. So that's fine. So what is this covenant we want you to sign? Reverend Brandon, you want to share about the covenant?
See, the truth of the matter is, exactly as Reverend Bob said, we are Unity Church of Overland Park. And over the past year, this is a community that's made its vision known. This is a community that has said loudly and clearly that we want this to be a vibrant family community. Vibrant family atmosphere. That we want to be a force for positive change in the world. And we're doing that on a daily basis. You heard Reverend Bob talking about our YOUers that spent their night out on the lawn to raise awareness for teen homelessness. You've heard us talking about the Renovate to Elevate team. And the opportunities to make a difference in the world continue even today after this service. Our Share the Joy Christmas outreach program kicks off today. And every one of you has the opportunity to go downstairs and help fill out gift tags to be used in that program. I'll be meeting in Harmony Hall right after this service. So it's clear that we want to accomplish these things together. But the truth is, this isn't something we can do just by ourselves. This isn't something that we can rely just on the staff of this community to handle. We can't rely on our board of directors to complete these things. We need each and every one of you. You see, it takes a commitment from each one of us. A commitment to say that this is our home. This is our community, and we will take the ownership over making it into a positive place where spiritual growth happens. A place where we make a positive impact on the world around us, not just through our intentions or our desires for peace and harmony, but through the actions that we take and the projects that we complete to make an impact for good in our world. And those are lovely intentions to hold. But remember what our fifth unity principle teaches us. So that fifth unity principle tells us that it's not just enough to know these things, to know the presence of God is within you, to know how this works in your life. We have to live the principles that we're learning. See, an intention is a wonderful thing. Intentions are very wonderful things. And intentions can help you create the world you want to experience. But the truth of the matter is, the greatest intention in the world is useless unless we put action behind that intention. And so today is an opportunity for all of us to act upon that intention. It's an opportunity for us to live that fifth principle and to truly, truly put it into action. Now, a commitment is more than just saying words. I mean, yes, words can be an expression of a commitment, but action, true action, is the essence of making a commitment. And so as such, a commitment is more than just being interested in something or thinking about doing something. You know, there have been times in my life when I tinkered with an idea, when I kind of thought, well, maybe I'll write a book. Or I considered going to law school or becoming an actor. I even took some of the steps to make those things happen. But let me tell you, the difference between those sorts of ideas that maybe I'll do this, and when I made a commitment and a covenant with the divine to become a unity minister, is astronomical. There's such a huge difference when you make that commitment and you stand up and say, yes, this is where I want my life to go. This is what I want to be. And when you make that commitment, you know deep down in your heart that you're going to do everything in your power to make that a reality. Now, over the past few weeks, you heard us talking about the power of giving in your life. And that as you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure, that you open yourself up to the divine flow of God in your life. And Charles Fillmore would famously remind his students, it's not just enough to know that these things work in your life. You have to try them on. You have to work with them and see how they work for you. And today is an opportunity for you to try them on, to see how they work in your life. It's an opportunity for you to make your own covenant with God, to try these things out. And so if you choose to make a commitment today, you'll be entering into a sacred covenant, not just with Unity Church of Overland Park, but with the Christ within each and every one of you. Just as Abraham and David entered into covenants with God today, we have the option to enter into a covenant to give into the flow, and to fully understand that as we give to the flow of God, that flow radiates back to us. And so I'd like to share with you the covenant that everyone will have the opportunity to sign today. Or will have the opportunity to sign later in the week, whenever you choose is appropriate to make your commitment. It says, we, the committed supporters of Unity Church of Overland Park, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our talent, and our treasure. We dedicate ourselves and our gifts to nurturing the Christ nature within each and every one of us. We dedicate ourselves to giving through that Christ nature to our spiritual community of Unity Church of Overland Park. As we commit to becoming an agent of change in our community, we understand and agree that the very nature of the Christ renders unto us peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and an abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want as an equivalent for this dedication. We commit and dedicate ourselves to these things in the presence of the Christ on this 9th day of November, 2014. And so as I worked with this idea of signing a covenant, I went back to what Charles Fillmore had to say about covenants and how that worked with manifesting prosperity in your life. And in his book, Prosperity, Charles Fillmore writes, dedicate yourself to God's business. Make a definite and detailed covenant with God. Lay your desires, appetites, and passions at his feet, and agree to use all your substance in the most exalted way. Then you are seeking the kingdom, and all things else shall be added unto you. You see, unity is all about taking an active role in your spiritual journey. And today is just one opportunity for you to do exactly that. And know that if you choose to not make a commitment today, that's okay. We have a special gift for all of you, regardless of whether you come up to make this commitment today or not. We have copies of Catherine Ponder's book, Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. And if you've been reading along with spiritual economics, this is a wonderful resource to kind of follow right behind that. And just as a little spoiler alert, Catherine and Eric don't agree on everything. So we have copies of this book for everyone. They'll be available on a table out in the lobby. And we just ask that you do just please take one today. If there are any extras left over, we'll put them back out next week, and you're welcome to take as many as you would like then. But this is our gift to you, because what this ministry knows is that as we give out into the world, we receive. And so as we prepare now to enter into this sacred ceremony, I'd like to turn it back over to Reverend Bob to begin our commitment ceremony.
Okay, let's just take a breath. And I invite you just to close your eyes for a moment. Just think about the commitment. Think about the commitment. And if you want to make this commitment this morning, then I invite you just to stand and come forward in just a moment. I'll ask Reverend Jan, Reverend Brandon, prayer chaplains to take their places. now whenever you're ready. Just come forward, and when you're done, we ask that you just have a seat and just be in the silence while others come forth to make their commitment. If you're up in the balcony, I invite you to come down to make this commitment. Spiritual community in the middle of the world. Can one spiritual community change the world in which we live? Of course, we're Unity Church of Overland Park. Can one person change the world in which we live? Of course. We're in tune with the teachings of Unity Church of Overland Park. In his book, Spiritual Economics, Eric Butterworth closes with this quote from Canon Farrar. He says, "I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And what I can do, I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God,